Welcome to the Entrepreneurial CEO Podcast, where we dive into the real stories behind building and scaling a business. Each episode, we sit down with CEOs, founders, and leaders to uncover hard-won lessons in leadership, systems, and team building. Listen in each week to learn directly from real business leaders who have been in your shoes, had success, made the mistakes, and all of the messiness that comes with building a business. If you're ready to learn from real-world leaders and gain insights you can apply today, you're in the right place. So let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back. Tyler, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, Andrew.
So everybody, today's guest is Tyler Lindvall, co-founder of Harmonic. They are a creative graphics and fabrication studio based in Colorado. We were just talking about the awesome snowboarding out there. Tyler and his wife started the business back in 2007. Bootstrapped, and over the years, they built it into an amazing brand and partner for different brands and events that need custom design, print, and fabrication. Along the way, they've adored. I mean, they're almost at the 20-year mark, which is amazing. Tyler and his wife work together. I think there's also challenges that go along that I'd love to learn more about. So thank you so much for being here, man. We're excited to talk to you and learn more about Harmonic.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate you having me on. So Harmonic started in 2007. I was working at another like kind of small signage graphics shop, kind of like a quick print sort of shop, and really saw the need to help a lot of our customers with more than more communication efforts than that were currently being provided by the space that I was working in. So this idea of working in harmony with other companies, with other resources was interesting to me, and I think interesting to a lot of our clients at the time, which were primarily ad agencies before kind of this was 20 years ago, while things were still very digital, but before kind of the everything is digital all the time movement. So we were working with a lot of ad agencies, but I just kind of birthed the brand out of wanting to offer more to our clients, and started with that backbone in printing and signage, and have grown the company over the, like you mentioned, last 20 years to offer some wider services, and all the way from design to print to fabrication to install. So
That's awesome, man. I mean, 20 years, that's a long time. A lot of companies don't make it that long. So how has the company evolved since then? So you've expanded services, expanded the team. Talk a little bit about that.
Like I mentioned, when we first started out in 2007, it was myself, and we had very small amount of equipment. We were basically just doing, like I mentioned, kind of like, quick print sort of stuff. So we were doing soft signage, banners, retail storefront kind of things. And that's evolved into we're doing, so I guess to back up, at that point, we were pretty much just kind of taking orders, receiving files, printing out what the client had wanted. And if we were to fast forward to today, we've got, when you place an order with us, you're the first person that you'll talk to is our design team. And they will kind of help, work through whatever priorities that you have for whatever it is that you're trying to create. And then, so we've developed a full design team here, full project management team, full, print fabrication team, and then install team. So we kind of went from like one segment as far as, tell us what you want and we'll print it, to full service. And we're really help kind of creating those ideas alongside with our clients.
That's awesome. And as you have had to grow and have those distinct teams, what did that require from like an operational standpoint? Different process, different systems to make sure everything's working properly?
Yeah. Lots of different procedural processes, lots of tinkering. I think the big thing was, when you're kind of on that smaller side with just a few people, sort of everybody does everything. And I think the biggest thing that I've noticed as we've grown, and physical location size, but as well as and as well as team members, is that we had to really kind of department, and each department had to have somebody that was kind of in charge of it, um, and run each department as its own kind of like small business in itself. So that's
For
been
sure.
I would say the biggest procedural thing that's changed over the course of 20 years.
Uh, I like that. I mean, like, I think people need to know, like, the clear lines of ownership and responsibility. Um, how did you get to that point? Was there, like, "Man, we really need to put this in," or was it just organic, or how did you get to that point where you needed that structure?
I mean, it was fairly organic. To a point. I mean, I think you kind of feel that it's part of. I think a lot of people would share this when you're running business. You kind of have to just listen to what your business and your clients are asking, and when things don't feel right, you got to kind of change things up. So I would say, maybe to answer your question, the first kind of hunch is organically, or kind of adapting to those normal challenges, problems, situations. And then I think more structurally, this was probably maybe 6 or 7 years ago, we adopted a program called EOS, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with, but
Mhm.
that's really helped kind of solidify those organic thoughts into really more, thought through procedural uh, type of activities. So we've been um, working on that platform for quite a long time, and that's really helped us kind of um, you know uh, uh, just procedurally has helped us quite a bit. So
Yeah. So, EOS helped you with the structure, the I guess, the rhythms and the process to make sure that people are coordinated across those different teams. Does that sound right?
yeah, there's a lot of tasks, right, in business, right? When you're trying to like grow, you're trying to like always tweak and change your offering. And so that requires, a team of people, or the leadership team, as the EOS prescription goes. So, so yeah, I'm sorry. What was the question, Andrew?
No, no, I was just curious what the value is that EOS has brought in terms of, like, because when I think about EOS, they've got the different components to it. They've got, like, the vision and the 1 and 3-year plan, and then, rocks and the different quarterly initiatives, but then also some of the smaller, more frequent rhythms. So, like, what part of it have you found to be valuable within Harmonic?
So for us, it's with working with a bunch of creatives, there's a bunch of ideas, and the execution sometimes lacks, because it's just the way that we operate. So for us, the biggest help has been really kind of taking those ideas, um, you know, visiting with the team on which are uh, ones that you want to pursue, which aren't, and then actually that like delegation component of it is like, okay,
Yeah.
well, how do we take this from an idea to an executable task? And so I think that's been the biggest thing for us, is actually seeing that traction component of it
Yeah.
start to work, and realizing that you can rely on your team, and just borrowing from that and leaning on that structure that EOS provides, um, has really helped us kind of get further along in some of those ideas, where, as in the past, they may have just been just that, an idea that just sat there for forever.
For sure, for sure. I mean, I think that there's a commonality or parallel with just entrepreneurs in general, where, like, idea, 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 and sometimes, depending on the entrepreneur, can struggle with execution. So EOS gives them that system that helps, and MAP is very similar in terms of a system for the execution. Um, how has it been going? So you talk about, like, creatives and having lots of ideas, and maybe the execution needed help. How has that been? Do you find that your how does your goal achievement look within the EOS system? Do you find that's helping you guys accomplish more goals, or, like, there's still work to be done there? How does that look?
It definitely does, without question. And I feel like we've been getting better and better at it. Without that process, if I look back, it was just that, a lot of thoughts, a lot of, oh, this would be cool. but it never really went anywhere. And I
Yeah.
also realized that or I guess we as a team had realized that we were solving sort of the same problem. Every so often something would come up and we'd be like, but didn't we like have this situation a year ago?
Yeah.
What did we do? Oh yeah, did we solve it? Did we not solve it? Oh, I think we decided that we might start maybe doing something.
Hmm.
Whereas when you have that EOS process, it's written down. We've got all the processes on a Google Drive where everybody can share in it.
Yeah.
So it's like the repeatable problem seems
Right.
to dwindle away a little bit more.
Yes, it's amazing when you start documenting everything, then you have that repository of just like process and that you can rely back on. When I before the show, we were doing a little bit of research and saw there was an article that you guys did. I don't know, it may have been a long time ago, talking about accountability. And it had said that you had maybe some close friends working in the business, and the shift for you and your wife was when you realized you needed to hold them accountable, right? Like, and it's not a bad thing. I think people think of accountability as a negative thing. It's not. It's just like, hey, we have a shared mission for the company and responsibility to the company. So hey, we're working on the goal here. How does that has that been a big shift for you in terms of like maybe goal achievement or um, being able to see progress, just like working on accountability within the company?
Hi, if you're a CEO out there who's struggling with focus for your company, aligning your team, accountability, if you're struggling with execution, connecting the dots from where you're at to where you want to be, we've got a great program for you here at MAP. My name is Michael Cato. I'm the CEO. Most importantly, I was a client for 15 years, sold my company to a public company, and then bought MAP so that we can help other entrepreneurs with this specific problem. We're a 60-year-old company. We've worked with 170,000 individual executives and CEOs. We've worked with 15,000 organizations. This is what we do. Click the link below to learn a little bit more about how people just like you, CEOs, have transformed their business and ultimately transformed their life by running through the MAP system.
Yeah, I think when you really get serious about about accountability, it helps obviously progress the company. There I don't know. There's a lot of situations where it's really easy to make an excuse for either a process or an idea or a person. And when you realize that you're not doing anybody a service by not holding that person, process, whatever it is, accountable for what they've agreed upon, I
Yeah.
think you're certainly doing a disservice to the company. But man, it sure is easy to push back on some of those things, be like, well, the excuse is this for this thing, because it's sometimes easier to sort of push it off than it is to
Mhm.
confront it head on. But I think what I've noticed is that when you do that and you can make that a little bit more of a habit, you get a lot further, and that traction happens a lot easier.
Yeah. Yep. It's sometimes those conversations suck, but
Yeah.
I mean they just have to have them. The one thing that I really liked, one of the consultants, we call them senior consultants at MAP. One of the senior consultants would say that we worked with, we always say, attack the problem, not the person, right? So like if there's a problem, we're going to talk about it. Doesn't mean that I don't like you. It doesn't mean that, you're not a great person or a great employee. It just means that you haven't done your job to what we think is the standard, right? Or you haven't achieved these goals. So we're going to talk about that and attack the problem together and try to find a solution, right? And but it's not personal, right? This is just, hey, we agreed as a business, this is what we need to do, and that's more important right now. And I always found that to be super helpful.
Yeah, agreed. It's a fine line when you have a culture, right? It's like you don't want to ruffle feathers, but also sometimes you have to ruffle feathers if things
Yeah,
need to get done. So, walking that line can be difficult sometimes, but
yeah,
necessary for sure.
especially when dealing with clients.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
that's
super
true.
important, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, sometimes you gotta have that gut feeling with clients as well. As it's like, what are you willing to bend on, and what are you needing to enforce as it comes to like fitting within your procedure. And at work. So you're right. It's important too for the client.
So you guys have taken Harmonic from a small, studio or small startup. Now you're working with big brands. I think I saw that you had some big projects with an NHL team in Colorado, which I love. I'm a huge hockey fan. I mean, looking forward, you know, 12 months, 24, 36 months, what are the big goals for Harmonic? What do you have set out there for goals, and what do you see as potential
Goals wise is it's always revenue, right? Trying to grow and help support that growth. As far as, goals, other than that would be just continuing on. Like, we really enjoy those bigger clients that are putting on these bigger activations. They're a lot of fun for all of us. Again, kind of back to that, everybody's sort of in that creative zone. So there's a cup filling component of that creative itch that gets scratched when we're getting to kind of like solve problems alongside of our clients. So um looking for more of that, more of those quality clients that have just really really fun ideas. Yeah, just continuing down the path that we're on is would be the goal. Although it's not maybe the sexiest goal, but it's we've got what we're pretty happy with. So we're just gonna kind
opportunity?
of keep forging along, keep growing it. So
Do you predominantly get business coming to you, or do you have a sales team that goes out and builds business?
a little bit of both. Predominantly, we are fortunate to be a very referral heavy business. The sales team is myself. We have an account person, Christian, who does a lot of our um, like quoting and that type of stuff. But as far as like that biz dev component of it, that's me. And that's fun, right? Because you get to kind of like, I enjoy the interaction, I enjoy the problem solving part of it. So it's like when you find that new potential client that's got that need that your business serves perfectly. That's where it gets really fun.
Yeah. There's something about agencies. Yeah, I have a good friend who has an agency in New York, and I just interviewed somebody else on the podcast that has an agency, and almost it's not universal, of course, but there's just a pattern here with the founders doing most of the sales and BD, and I wonder when that shifts and you bring. Have you thought about that? Like when that will shift and you'd want to bring somebody else in internally?
Yeah, and we've had, several sort of, sales, business development people.
Yeah,
And it never seems to work out. And I'm not entirely sure why. I feel, I mean, my hunch is that there's not really, the owner always has the most passion about what it is that they're selling,
for
right?
sure.
Because they're the founder. So I think it's what I've found is like it's difficult for some people to fully grasp the offering, and then to align that with what the perfect client is. And especially like in our industry where it's not one for one. It's not like we have, XYZ persona is the only type of client or customer that's buying our goods and services. I mean, we range so broadly from, retail environments to brand activations to, signage and graphics to vehicle wraps. So our customer base is pretty diverse, and I think it's difficult sometimes for salespeople at Harmonic, anyways, to kind of fully be able to put all those pieces together and be as effective as they maybe could be.
It'd be really hard for somebody to come in and ramp up to your level of knowledge, right? You've got 20 years under your belt. Yeah, that's tough, man. Um, so let me ask you a different question. So you've been running this business with your wife. How talk about that? So we've had other entrepreneurs on the show who have either worked with spouse or siblings. Um, how have you been able to do that? I think that's hard. I think that's hard. I've worked with my wife, and it is hard. What have you found to be a trick, a tip? What do you have out there that you can lend to the audience as a way to do that successfully?
Um, I don't know if I have it figured out by any stretch, but communication is obviously super important. That can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But for her and I, it's just we're constantly running stuff by one another, but also staying out of each other's way when it comes
Yeah.
to back to the EOS component of it. Like, we both have very different seats and very different things within the business. So I think that's, if I had to attribute a positive um, topic or point to it, it's that, she focuses on different part of the business than I do. I think it would be much different if we were both creatives trying to sort of do the same thing and solve the
Yeah.
same problems in the business. That, and just, I think it works when you have a lot of respect for who you're running the business with. And I think that, for me anyways, that goes within the business and also at our house, and really everywhere. So, I don't know. I mean, it is difficult, but it's also, I don't personally know it any other way. So it's very natural for me. Um, but it is interesting. People do ask about it quite often, but it's a lot of fun, but it's also can be stressful, because you're sharing in the same highs and you're sharing in the same lows, and all the while trying to, like, run the business and operate your family. And so it's you got to be step in step with that person. And I'm fortunate that Barb and I are that way and have that relationship.
It's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think having those clear swim lanes and managing expectations is super important. You know, and that goes for any partner. In fact, right? If you if you have a co-founder or a business partner, just making sure that whether you're married to them or not, um, is super important. And I think it's where people get into trouble.
Yeah, and I mean relationships in general, right? It's like you gotta know how to operate, and
Yeah.
so yeah, it's important, but fun.
We talk about on the show, like people going from entrepreneur to CEO and like there being a shift there and your roles and responsibilities or how you need to operate. It's been 20 years or almost 20 years for Harmonic. What have you noticed about your leadership or how you've been running the company? Has it evolved? Do you still feel like there's things that you need to do differently as a CEO, or do you feel like, you've gotten to this, like, talk about that a little bit?
I mean, I would really honestly consider Barb as, the CEO.
Mm,
If it kind of comes down to it, she's really making a lot of those higher level decisions. Um, but as how it's changed, I mean, or what work is left to be done. I mean, I think there's always something to do, right? You're trying to constantly improve. So we're just, I mean, again, like I said before, trying to build the business so that it's just fully functioning and fully operational, sort of on its own. Um, and yeah, so I don't really know if I have too much more of a statement on that one.
okay, that's fine. Um, One last question. If you could, looking at the business and the operations, if you could wave a wand and optimize one part of it or maybe improve something, what would that be?
Mm, I think that, I don't know. I guess it's just because it falls under myself, but that business development part of it, like I was mentioning earlier, like finding the right match between what I considered a little bit niche-ish offering,
Yeah.
and customer. If I had a magic wand, I would, you know, wave it and just make those connections and have everybody that had that need be able to sort of raise their hand, and so I could, sift through the clutter quite a bit quicker. Because That takes a lot of time to try to, find the right person that has the specific need.
Mhm.
So yeah, if I had a magic wand, it would be waved to raise hands for who needs our services, so we could
So
get to them quick.
finding not finding a salesperson or BD person, finding the actual clients who need the services.
Yes.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, we all wanna do that.
Right.
That for sure. Uh, cool. Well, Tyler, thanks so much for being here, man. This has been great. Um, before we wrap up, where can folks go to learn more about Harmonic or perhaps to connect with you?
Yeah, so our website, getharmonic.com, is very up to date. So a good resource for all things harmonic. And then our socials too, which you can find on our website. But Made by Harmonic is Instagram and Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. So just check us out there. We do keep that up to date, and lots of cool projects and inspirational things to check out there as well. So
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again. We really appreciate your time. I know this is a busy season for you. And thank you everybody for listening. We will see you next time.
great. Thanks, Andrew.
All right, man.